Welcome back to our Friday Oil Chats. I'm Julie Johnston, and I'll be joined here shortly with Linda Pick-and-Paul. We have a topic today that hopefully will help you if you're someone who has been watching your budget as prices rise on, I guess, mostly food right now. The cost of eggs, I guess, is way more than it's been in years, if ever this high. And just, there's so many different things that the prices have gone up and people are trying to cut back on their budget. And today we're going to talk through how that impacts choices that you're making for your food, I guess your food choices, your healthy food choices, things that are going to improve your health and maintain your metabolic health. That's been our pretty much our topic all month long, is metabolic health and how we can improve that and what not having good metabolic health can actually do to our bodies. So today we will be talking about whole foods and how purchasing those does not have to be a budget buster. If you are somebody who would love to buy whole foods, but you're afraid that that's going to be more expensive, maybe that means you have to shop only in the organic section at the grocery store. We're here today to expand on that and let you know that that's not what it means, and you can still make smart whole food purchases that will stay within your budget. All right, I'm still looking for Linda here. I'm hoping that Facebook is telling her that I'm on here and that she can jump on. It normally does. It just creates this huge delay. So that's why I'm always on here first, waiting for her. All right. Well, in our post that went up this week, which was our Wednesday wellness tip, we were talking about eating whole foods and what exactly that means. And I want to make sure that everybody understands, as we talk a little bit about these whole foods today, what that actually means. So if you are in the process of trying to eat healthier and make wiser choices, the whole foods, it actually means that it refers to food that is grown or it comes from something that's grown. So that could be dried, canned, frozen, or even smoked foods. So if you're thinking about like a potato, if you buy a potato and you prepare a baked potato, that's a whole food. But if you buy a box of instant mashed potatoes that's been processed, and that is not referred to as a whole food. So there will be less nutritional value in that processed food than there is in the whole food, the actual whole potato. So hopefully that makes sense. A little quick way to remember it. It's something that is grown and it hasn't gone through any sort of process. So there's no preservatives in it. There's no artificial sweeteners in it. It is as pretty much as it is when it's grown. So Linda's texting me. I got a text message from Linda and says she's on here, but Facebook's decided not to let her in yet. So hopefully any second it'll connect and let her in here. So I'm still trying to fill that time until she gets on here, because Linda is very good at doing lots of research before our calls, and she always has great things to add to these videos. Here, let me text. I don't know, Facebook, let Linda in. Let me do one more thing. It does say that she's allowed to request to be on here. I don't know why it's not bringing her on or showing that she's even watching. Wow, thank you, Facebook. I have something that I wanted to share, and that was about when we talk about our metabolic health. We have referred to the statistic that metabolic health, only 1 in 8 people have optimal health. Facebook saw Linda and is letting her in. Let's bring her on here. Lots of delaying until I get her here. She's coming now. It's still delaying. It's still being crazy. Oh, there she is.
There I am. Hi.
Oh, I'm glad Facebook woke up and finally decided to let you in.
Okay. Yes. I was like, okay, where are we at?
Oh my gosh, so silly.
Yeah.
Well, so I've tried to give them a little bit. Maybe you were able to watch it while you were waiting.
No, that I had nothing.
Oh my gosh, it's so weird. So I was telling them that we were talking about improving their health, whole foods, how that doesn't have to bust their budget, that there are ways to buy foods that aren't all organic, that are still considered whole food. I gave them the definition of whole food and an example that a whole potato, if you bought a whole potato and you made a baked potato, that's still a whole food. But if you went and bought the box of instant mashed potatoes and made it, that is not whole food because it's been processed. So it's kind of like it's the whole food and you're going to eat the whole thing, and someone didn't chop it all up and dry it and put preservatives and sweeteners and all that in it. So that's the quick version of what's a whole food.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it's also interesting. Some people might be hesitant right now thinking, I really have to watch what I'm spending. And I'm not sure if I can change over to eating these whole foods because I'm watching, how much money's going out right now with the increase in grocery costs. But if you kind of weigh the health care costs or the medical costs that you may be spending because your health is not optimal, and if you're able to improve your health and bring down those medical expenses, spend a little bit more on the better foods, then you may come out ahead as opposed to below.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking when we're eating those, I think a lot of it for maybe young families is economically, yes, but also the pressure of 2 parents working, and mom's not home or dad's not home, and we are just too tired when we get off work and we come home, and it's easier to grab a box of this or a box of that.
Yeah.
And and when really eating whole foods, or that are closest to the form, and you're thinking a whole potato, well, if I am just eating things that probably my first thing when I go to the grocery store is fruits and vegetables that I can get that are fresh, and I watch for them to be on sale. For instance, this week cherries were on sale.
Oh.
And so they are wonderful in a smoothie with our doTERRA vanilla or chocolate protein. And so I actually invested in a cherry pitter because I don't like to pit them because my hands get stained and so forth. And I thought, and just this year, and it was like, why didn't I do that before? But so I actually bought a couple bags because they were on sale. And so I will pit them and I will freeze them. I don't add any preservatives. I don't add anything to them, but I will lay them out on a tray. And so after I've pitted them, I usually slice them and lay them out so they freeze by themselves, and then I'll just bag them. And then they're just really easy to get a few out and put in my smoothie with my protein. And so you know, there again, it's just starting to develop a different lifestyle of thinking, a different way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, whole foods don't come from a box, a package, a mix, or a bag, and some, and you have to read labels, and that takes time too. But once you start knowing what to look for and how to look for, you know, how, you know, because my mother was always watching sodium, you know. Um, okay, so you look and what's in the first 5 ingredients on those boxes, and you know, if it's sugar or if it's salt, and you look at the sodium content, it's like, okay, maybe I better put this back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that type of thing. In watching for whole foods, clean food living, and so on. And another rule of thumb is we've got used to sweet treats too much, and so I would say that you know, I was looking at a list of anything that we say is sugar. You know, we think sugar, okay, the white sugar in the package, okay, but if you start looking, there's a whole list, probably 20 or 30, that are considered, you know, okay, this is a substitute or this is this, but they're sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can actually cleanse yourself out of that, um, you don't have the cravings as
No.
much. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when you were talking about, you know, the busy families where both mom and dad are working, you get home and you're just worn out from the day, and more than likely your kids have more activities than you ever had as a child. So you're hurrying out the door with them as soon as they get home from school. That's kind of my story. But I try really hard, and I'm sure lots of other people do this too. But if you don't, and you still have kids at home, this might be a good way to make dinner go a little faster. But my girls love to chop up the vegetables. So instead of already buying vegetables or fruit that's already cut for you, we cut it ourselves. So that saves a little bit of money, but I also get them in here and get them working too. So my youngest is 10, and I think probably last year she started, she wants to peel so badly. Peeling is so much fun, and it scares me that she's going to go the wrong way and hurt herself. But I really try to resist the urge to be like, no, no, you can't do it. Let me do it. She wants to do it, so I want to let her. It takes a lot longer than if I did it myself, but she loves to peel the potatoes and then chop them up. So maybe we're having potato soup. She will chop up all the potatoes for that, and she loves doing it. Well, she just recently told me that she was over at her friend's house, and her mom asked if the girls could help with dinner. And Lucy said, I'll peel the potatoes. And the mom said, how are you peeling those potatoes so quickly? I can't even peel potatoes that quickly. They're like, oh, that's so funny. So
Yeah.
I don't know, giving them those life skills too, and getting them in to help with, you know, dinner. It's just another way to spend time with the kids, but to help out when you're tired after a long day, to, you know, have somebody in there with you, and saves you money by not, you know, buying things that are already done for you. Another one would be carrots. So I've recently heard that the little baby mini carrots, you know, the mini carrots that are so cute, and you buy those are just the big carrots whittled down to make the baby carrots.
Okay.
They're not grown as tiny little carrots. They're the big carrots, and they make them look cute, mini carrots. So you can go back to buying the ugly carrots that need to be peeled again and chopped up. Those would be probably a little healthier for you because they have all of the nutrients and everything in them, and they haven't been processed down to that little tiny baby carrot. So another one there. Cutting up your own lettuce, not buying that bag that's already shredded.
Right.
It's another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are some ways to eat your whole foods and not go over your budget. I was telling Linda when we were sort of getting ready for today's call that I had been listening to a lady who does an entire podcast on, she's a nutritionalist, and she does an entire podcast, and I believe a blog that goes with it, that gives you recipes that are for, you know, whole nutritional foods, and it's all based on food that you can buy at Aldi. And I thought that was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing both there and getting people involved in that way with their health. So
yes, and I listened to a part of one of those podcasts, and they were going through and listing if you need to buy Cheerios, you know, and they gave the price for Walmart and Costco and Aldi, and I mean, it was 20 minutes of listening to all of these products that, okay, you know, you just think, go grab it. But, you know, thinking about where you could, and I would say Aldi came up as one of the top, you know, and as far as economically.
Yeah.
You know, another tip that I read about was, it was called the 80-20 rule. And it was saying that, you know, we can't, you know, we probably won't eat whole food 100% of the time. But if we could think, all right, 80-20, you know, and so I'm thinking, oh, that's possible, you know, that I can make those choices at least 80% of the time, and knowing that sometimes it's not going to happen, but start getting in that kind of a lifestyle, you know, that I'm working on it.
Yeah. So strive for a B instead of an A+ right out the bat.
Right. Right.
Back to your teacher roots.
Yeah. You know, and it doesn't mean just because you got a little wiggle room that you can eat Doritos every day.
Yeah.
No, that's not the whole idea. You know, the whole idea is to get away from that, but knowing that there'll be moments.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So.
And another thing I was thinking of that we should probably point out too, when we're talking about whole foods, our lifelong vitality, our supplements come from whole foods. And many supplements that are out on the market do not come from whole foods. They come from something that looks like a whole food in the laboratory. But even though it looks like it there in the laboratory, when our body gets that supplement, our body knows, it's smart enough to know, I don't know what that is. There's nothing from that supplement that I'm going to actually ingest, and it comes right back out of your body. But when you use those doTERRA lifelong vitality that comes from whole foods, your body's able to absorb the nutrients and vitamins and all of that goodness that's in those. So that's another thing to remember. We've talked about whole foods before, and it has been with those.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I just have one more thing. I know there are lots of people that listen to us, and I just have a prayer request. And last Friday, after we had taped, and I found out that my niece has AML leukemia, and that was on Friday, and on Tuesday they started her on chemo because that kind of leukemia is very aggressive. And so I would just ask that you pray, if you think of it and remember her, to just pray for her. Her name is Clarissa. So.
All right. Sorry to hear that. It's so sad.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, I hope that we helped you out a little bit here on the whole food definition, and maybe we saved you a little bit too when you go out to the store this weekend or whenever it is you do your shopping. Yeah. We'll be back again next Friday, so take care until then.